Schilling with What They Think, continuing with the Cool Tools series at Hunkler Innovation Days. We're at the Ultimate Tech booth, which they create a piece of software that many of you in the pre-press or designer areas might be familiar with, called Impostrip.
Hi Mary, nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
I'm Andrew Bowles-Collins, or ABC, and I'm the head of products here at Ultimate Tech.
So let's talk about the simplicity of the software. As people have to integrate this, let's talk about its functionality.
Okay, so primarily what the product does, there's three products. There's Impostrip, there's Ultimate Bindery, and there's Ultimate Best Cut. Three very different products that do three very different things. So Ultimate Impostrip is an imposition ganging nesting product. So it takes the one-off PDF from the pre-press department after it's been pre-flighted, is ready to go to press, and then we will lay out that file depending on the material, whether it's roll or sheet, and also on the device, whether it's a high-speed inkjet machine or a wide format machine or an offset press or a label press, whatever it is. There's about 21 different ways of laying out products for printing presses. The second product is Ultimate Bindery, and what that does is during the imposition we will take information about the way that the job has been laid out, imposed through JDF, and then take that to the finishing device or multiple finishing devices if they're in a chain, and effectively set them up based on the job that's coming. So the operator doesn't have to do anything. It automates that process, reducing make readies and waste. And then the third product is actually an OEM product, which is for cutters or guillotines, as we call them in Europe a little bit. And that will do the same thing. It will take the layout and then give it to the guillotine, so the operator doesn't have to punch in any numbers, doesn't have to do any maths. He just looks at the screen, makes his first cut, and then follows the instructions on the screen to finish the job. So a little bit before the press and a lot after the press.
But it all has to do with efficiency.
It all has to do with finishing, yeah. Finishing
Absolutely.
first, everything now is becoming about finishing because it's the slowest part, if you like, the bottleneck. The presses are so fast now.
Yeah.
If you don't look after the finishing, you just end up with loads of sheets that aren't product that you can't sell, that you can't invoice. So it's becoming a very, very important part of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And making that efficient for the press is very important, just for the fact that there's a lot of times designers, when they design, don't understand how many of the files need to be ganged. So if you're going roll to roll and you're using a very wide roll format, say 42 inches, 52, 56, you have to be able to gang or set that up accordingly that it's efficient for the press. Very good. So let's talk about your integration and your partnerships with the finishing companies, because the two have to talk.
Yeah, and it even goes further upstream because you have to get the job from a workflow or from a management information system. You have to talk their language or they talk your language, so primarily through XML or through APIs, depending on how you want to work. Some people still work manually. They still prefer to work manually. That's also possible. And also through hot folders. So there's a variety of different mechanisms for bringing work in and consuming work into Impostrip. Output is always PDF, unless it's a cut file for a cutting table or something like that, or a die. There can be different formats for that, but primarily PDF to the press. And then once the sheets are produced, JDF to the finishing device, but they all talk a slightly different language of PDF. They've all got their own kind of spin and their own functionality. So the way I tend to think about Ultimate Bindery is it's like a Rosetta Stone. It takes in the JDF and then translates it, if you like, into the best JDF for the particular device it's talking to. So we have drivers for many, many different finishing devices, slitter cutter creasers, perfect binders, statter stitchers, guillotines, and we then communicate with those devices in a language they understand. And very often it's not just one device, it can be a daisy chain. So it could be, slit, cut, crease, fold, stitch, trim. So it could be three devices, and we understand as well about what they need to understand but also that the sheet itself is going to change as it goes from maybe being a B1 to being folded to something else, and we take care of all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So there's such a big complexity. You know, it's not just about the design, it's not just about print, but it's never finished until it's finished.
No.
And it's not finished unless it's efficient.
Well, it's not finished until it's paid for.
Yeah, true, absolutely. Because if you're finishing or your process is not efficient, then that goes to your ROI and the bottom line of the cost of that piece. And that also should be on the top of designers and pre-presses' minds on how efficient the process needs to be.
Yeah. And
Thank
then
you very much.
You get the dreaded reprint word as well, but we won't talk about that.
Absolutely, because waste, nobody pays for waste. So thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you for your time.
I'm Mary Schilling with What They Think. Cool Tools. Thanks for watching.